Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Testing Zone. So in last video we saw how to create contest.py file and a little bit of fixtures as well. Created some fixtures that are necessary for our like for our connection setup and tear down methods basically. Okay. So with all this done, today we are ready to go ahead and start with our test data validation script. Okay. So while we were starting this framework, we decided that we will go over around 7 to 8 test cases, right? So these are the 8 test cases that we are going to execute using Pytest. Okay. For a starter, I have taken this one and this one to be covered in this video. Okay. Next test cases will follow along in next videos. So the very first test case is we need to verify the count from the CSV file that we uploaded to Postgres and the data that is residing in Supabase. Okay, the table name which is Superstore data. If you remember that table, right? So that is what we need to do. So if you see here, this was a Supabase website. This was a Supabase website, and then from here we created Superstore data table, and the table is residing over here, and we have total 994 records. Okay, great. So now what we will do is we will start writing our test data validation script. Okay. So for this, I will tell you how to use parameters also. While we will read the test cases from the Excel file, but we will use like params for that. As in, we will pass one by one test cases to our function, and then it will execute those test cases. Okay. So I'll explain that. Don't worry. So like I told, for a starter, I have taken only 2 test cases. Okay. So I'll show you the test cases file once. It's opening. Okay, so this is a test cases file. Okay, so this is again the test case name, that is total records, and then total order placed by region. This is the query we are going to run on DB, PostgresDB. Okay, and this is we are going to calculate using Pandas on the CSV file that we read. Cool. I won't save my changes, and let us go back. So this is the original sheet of test cases. This is test case OJ, and the another one is the one which we will be taking up in each of the video. Okay, so here we will be covering 2 test cases in this one. So let's go ahead and start writing the script. Again, we would always need to import the package that we would need, and then import pandas as PD. Okay, we will create a function method over here, run validations. Okay, now what are the arguments, what are the parameters necessary that we need to pass? Okay, so one is expected value. We would not expected value. We will give test cases. Okay, and then we will test case, and then we will give Superstore CSV. Okay, and then we will give DB. So these 3 are the important params that we need to give over here. Okay, and then we will write. Now what we will do is, you saw now if we open the test cases file, the logic is sitting in query logic column, right? And the expected value is sitting over here, and test case name is like test case names are sitting in this column. So this is our query logic, right? So what we will do is we will take this query logic and we will put it here. Query logic is equal to test case query logic. Follow along with me. I'll explain you why I'm doing all this. Okay, don't worry. ये ऐसे होगा. ठीक है, query logic हो गया. Now we will put expected value as well. Expected is equal to test case, and then similarly we will take up that file and we will just put the expected value as CSV region. Okay. So here we will put, oh, no, we need to take the column name, okay? So the column name is expected value, and then it will take the value from there apparently. Great. Okay, so this will be the expected value, and then we will check. Okay, we will run some checks via if. So if query logic dot starts with Okay. No, sorry, it has to be dot. If query logic dot starts with, now our queries start with select, right? But there are some custom queries as well. Now suppose this one will be a custom logic that we will be writing inside. So for in starter, we took these two example, right? Row number 5 and row number 2. So these two queries start with select. Okay. So we will put this select over here if it starts with select, and that too in caps. Okay. Then what we will do is we will go ahead and run db dot run query, and then we will put run query and then query logic. Yes, and we will store the result inside db result. Okay. This is one part. Now next we need to get the counts of the file. This is a total count logic, right? That we are validating. So we need to take the counts counts from both CSV file and our DB. So this is nothing but our DB result. Okay. Now next is CSV result, right? So for CSV result, what we will do is, now suppose this has run the query. Okay. Now we will do like if expected value, this was expected, right? If expected is equal to, now what was expected in our Excel? Expected is CSV count, correct? So we will put it here as expected is equal to CSV count. Then what we will do is we will return DB result. So it will give you list of tuples. Okay, this particular, whenever we run a query, it always gives a list of tuples. So each row is coming as a tuple, and then it is accumulated together in a list. That's why we are putting indexes over here and taking the first value, first index of the list, and then the first value of the first tuple from that list. Got it? Now what we are doing is we will do is equal to length of this particular CSV. Okay, till here with me? So we have validated our very first statement right now. I'll show you how to execute and all, but let us write the other logic as well, where we are getting the total number of rows with respect to region, that is grouping by region. Okay. Now next is how to identify which test case that has to be. Then it is expected dot starts with. Now what is the expected value for that? The expected value for this one is CSV group region. Okay, so we'll put this here. Okay, now we will put it as this. Okay, let me not put this because we will be using all our, all our group by in this elif only. But for now, I'll be teaching only one. We will be going ahead with next in subsequent videos, like I mentioned in video before. So yes, so we will see that expected. Now, obviously it is starting with CSV group by. So expected would be, we will split it. Okay, expected now holds this entire string. Okay, these are the strings that will be there inside, because these will be starting with CSV group by, right? These four rows. So now I want the from where I am grouping by. I'm grouping by region, right? This is the column where I'm grouping by. So what I want is, I want this particular region to be stripped off from this entire string. So what I will do is I'll split it. Okay, so I will split the character using colon. Okay, and then I'll take first. You know that and everything in Python indexing starts with 0, right? So that is why we are taking it as 1. Okay, so this will be the column through which we will be grouping by. Now on Superstore CSV, we will run the group by logic using this particular column. Okay, and now right now the value inside this particular column is region. Okay, region is sitting inside this variable. Now what we will do is we will go ahead and store this. First, let us take CSV result. Okay, and then we will give Superstore CSV dot group by. Okay, group by what? Group by column name. Okay, and then what is the thing that we are calculating? We are calculating order ID. Okay, Order ID is nothing but the very first column in our superstore CSV file, the our base as in source file, right? So we are grouping by this, and then we are calculating on the basis of group by. So we will put now count over here, okay? And then we will reset index. So generally, whenever by default, if we do group by region, right? So it is going to reset the index, and region is going to become a group by has this capability to do this. So the region will become our new index. So what we'll do is we'll just keep the index as it is. So we will do, I mean, the original index that is 0, 1, and all those follows along, right? So we will keep it as reset index, and then we will convert this into values. Okay, so values convert the data frame into numpy array. Okay, so why? Because we need to convert it into list. We are going to assert the values into list as a list form. Okay, so now we will do list. So I think it is okay. This is done. So this will give us the result from the CSV by grouping column as region, and then the count that it will take is order ID count. Okay. Now what we will do is we will store the DB result. DB result list of row for row and DB result. Okay. What it is doing nothing but it is putting each of the rows in DB result. DB result is this one. Okay. So if now our expected starts with CSV group by. Now it will always run the query. If the query logic starts with select, this particular result DB result will store the results of by after running this query, basically whatever query we are giving in here. Okay. Now we are giving expected values over here in if else statements inside this. Okay. So for second test case, it will take the CSV group by, and then it will run this particular query, which is required for region in the group in the DB query line, right? Now we are getting DB result over here. Now what we will do is we will return list of sorted DB. Okay, and then we will do equal to sorted CSV result. Okay. So I think this is not required anymore, okay, because we are already returning. Let's see if it throws an error, we will handle that time, okay. So this is going to return this, and then what we will do is we will finally return return false, okay. If all this is not true, then obviously it is false. Now this is our final function, okay? I mean not final function, but the function to handle the two test cases that we have in our test cases file right now, okay? Now let us run it through Pytest. So what we will do is we will create Pytest dot mark. We will create parameterization. We will do parameterization in Pytest, ठीक है? तो कैसे करते हैं ये बताती हूँ आपको. So this is test case, okay? And then what we will do is we will put this is nothing but the parameter name we are passing. Okay, this is in a string. Now we are passing the values inside this list in list bracket. Okay, so the values we will be passing is via pytest dot param. Okay, and then we will do it as tc comma. So this is nothing but we are doing an iteration. This is list comprehension basically. That is what we are doing. I'll explain you what this particular query is doing. So for now we are doing this like we are putting these two values, but the end is how we are taking it is for okay. For we will store this inside a underscore only because it is in pd dot read excel. Okay, and then we will give the Excel sheet location, that is our test case file data test cases dot xlsx. Okay, and then we will pass the sheet name is equal to sheet 1. Okay, and then we will do iter rows. So iter rows is nothing but it will give the index and the rows of rows of that particular Excel as an output. Okay. So in this way, we have closed it over here. Now, what we will do is we will create our test case, test data, validation. Okay. We will pass the test case from here that we have used. Next is what we need to do is we need to pass the Superstore CV. Now these are the fixtures, okay? The Superstore CSV, this test case is coming from here. This is a fixture, okay? And DB will also be fixture that we created, okay? So now we will do assert this particular function. We will call it here, run validations, and then we will put it as, again, what are the parameters that is need? It needs all three, and all three is already assigned over here. So we'll call all this, okay? And then we will give a statement also if suppose it is failing. So we'll give it as failed, okay? And then we will put the test case, okay? So this will be the entire, like code for validating that two test cases as in total count and group by region count. So this was our contest file. So here, at first we wrote the test case file also as a contest so that we read the test case file at once and then use. But I felt that it is more convenient to use the test cases as a parameter, as in pass in the test cases one by one and call this. So it will reduce the load, right? And it will be efficient also. So this way we created, this way I just modified, I have just commented out this particular fixture and kept these two fixture only. Okay. So before running it, what you need to do is you need to pass your password over here. I told you already how to get the connection string. Let me tell you again how to, if you're watching the video just here. So let me tell you how to get the connection string as well. So once you go to connect over here, you will see transaction pooler. Okay. You will see host name, port, database, user, and all of the information over here. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to copy it and and paste it in your code, okay? And then you might have created a password while you were creating the account and the table, the account and the project. So that password you have to keep it here. So I have not kept any password for now. So if I have not kept any password, okay, and if I'm running the validation, it will fail. So I'll show you this VS and then what is test data. Okay, we will run this. Okay, so you see these both of these have failed. Okay, now what is happening here is I'll show you the error. No active DB connection. Okay, there is no active DB connection for both of these. So let me fix this. Let me put the password. Okay, and then run it again. So just give me a moment. So I've loaded the password. Now let me run the validation again and see if it passes. If it doesn't, we'll see where it is failing. Okay, so it is giving an key error as an order ID column is not found. Okay, now what we will do is if they are not able to find this order ID, so we have loaded the data in our in our superstore like sample superstore CSV, right? So we are taking the file, we are taking the column from there. So let us see what is the column name. Okay, so the column name is order ID. So we will just put it there. Okay. Great. Now I will close that file so that it doesn't give us permission denied error. Okay. Now let us go ahead and run it again. So make sure these small things can result up in, errors, and don't be scared of errors. If you are seeing failure, try to sort it out. So the best way is try printing each and everything. Try debugging by printing each and every value where it is failing. So we have run it again. Let us see. Okay, it is again throwing some. Okay, what is the error? Let us see the error. So this is connection close. This is fine, but the error is here. Type error. Okay, object is not callable. So this particular object is not callable. Why it is showing it? So we have done group by, and then we are doing column also, and then we are passing this also. We are doing count, reset index, great. And then is I think to convert it into NumPy, it has to be values. It is not a function. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, great. Both of the test cases have passed. Okay. And if you need to see like what values are there, when we are asserting it, so you can certainly do print over here. So let us suppose I need to see what values we have asserted, right? So let us do print. This is just a way to debug. I mean, this is a sample data set, and we for sure know what can be there and what cannot be. But in certain cases, if your I mean, if the data set is not known to you and you just need to know what is the output that we are getting by running each of the query, just go ahead and print in each of the statement and see why assertion is failing. Okay. So I have just done print over here so that you can see what are the results that we are getting along with. So if you see now from where are we getting this statement? See this total records, right? This total records is coming via this particular variable that we are passing it here. So I told you this is the parameterization that we do in Pytest test cases. So it does nothing but it is running this particular function as many times as many test cases we have in our test case file. Okay, so for now we just have two. So it has run only two data validations. So one is total records, another is total order placed by region. And then as we see that it is exactly same, right? It is giving us this one like central, east, south, west, and the numbers are also same. Central 2323, east is 2848, south is 1620, and west is 3203. Perfect. So that is why, and we are sorting it over here. Okay, when we are doing an assertion, we are sorting it. So don't worry, it is already. I mean, when we are comparing it, we are sorting it. So that is why we are not getting an assertion error. Okay, so this is how we wrote these two test cases. Next, we will proceed with other test cases as well. So we have 5 to 6 more test cases to go. So hang on with me, and then we will complete this entire framework by executing all these test cases and displaying the results as a PyTest, HTML page as well. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you.